Sponsored by
कब्ज और उससे संबंधित तकलीफों का समाधान, बैद्यनाथ कब्ज आहार दे कब्ज में आराम, प्राकृतिक और सुरक्षित।
Speaking on the much-needed reforms in the United Nations Security Council, India presented a detailed model on behalf of G4 nations, including new permanent members and flexibility of using veto power. At the same time, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Friday stated that it was common sense that the UNSC requires a great need to reform, citing the significant increase in membership from 50 to 200 countries since the UN's inception.
Most of us actually understand that there is a great need to reform the United Nations. It's a common sense, I would say, conclusion, because when the United Nations was founded, there were roughly about 50 countries who were members. Today, there are almost 200 countries who are members.
Addressing the Nikki Forum on India-Japan Special Strategic Partnership, E.M. Jaishankar emphasized that excluding the most populous countries and major resource contributors to the UN would be detrimental to the United Nations Security Council. He underscored the importance of the UNSC ensuring that India and Japan attain the appropriate level of representation or status in the Council. Pointing out the growth of members in the UN, E.M. Jaishankar emphasized that if the members inducted into the eminent foreign organization have not stalled, similarly the leadership and the decision-making members of the organization must not remain stagnant. Highlighting the limitations of the UNSC membership, Jaishankar mentioned that despite Africa having over 50 nations, there are no representatives from Africa and neither from Latin America. He further asserted that though Asia has one member at UNSC, considering the continent's vitality, demographics and the size of its nations, it certainly needs more representation.
What form will it take? I think some parts of it are quite obvious. There is not a single African member. There is not a single Latin American member. I mean, Africa is a continent of more than 50 nations, but there's no member. So, and I mean, in the case of Asia, yes, there is one member, but if you look today at the dynamism of Asia, the demographics of Asia, the size of nations, I think there's a very, very strong case as well. These discussions are going on. We felt that, in many ways, the discussions have not progressed because those who are opposed to any change have found ways of delaying it.
Meanwhile, India's permanent representative to the UN ambassador, Ruchira Kamboj, on the other hand, on Thursday, presented a model on behalf of G4 nations, Brazil, Germany, Japan and India, regarding reforming the UN Security Council. Kamboj stated that the UN's 80th anniversary next year serve as a milestone to achieve concrete progress on the long-pending subject. Ruchira Kamboj proposed that the Security Council's membership must be increased from 15 members to 25 members by adding 6 permanent and 4 to 5 non-permanent members. G4 nations asserted that of these 6 permanent members, 2 each must be from African and Asia-Pacific states, 1 each from Latin America and Caribbean states, and 1 from Western European and other states.
The G4 proposes to have the General Assembly increase the Security Council's membership from 15 to 25 or 26 by adding 6 permanent and 4 or 5 non-permanent members. The 6 new permanent members are proposed to be elected according to the following pattern: 2 from the African states, 2 from the Asia-Pacific states, 1 from the Latin American and the Caribbean states, and 1 from the Western European and other states.
Kamboj stated that significant shifts have occurred globally since 1945, which emphasizes that there is a necessity for the permanent membership to adapt to these new realities. Any suggestion failing to consider representation from the global south encompassing Africa, Asia and Latin America within the permanent category would unjustly neglect the developing countries' desire for equality, India underscored.